Okay, so back when I made my Yuzuha guide, I showcased that she was not working with attribute damage, right? And you can see here, for example, 1944. This is how much we're hitting with physical damage. Now, take a look on this. We have lighter here. You see 75% fire damage. And the moment that I change it to fire, you can see that the damage increases. 3165. So yeah, it's not working, which is quite interesting to say the least. But does this actually change anything at all? Because, for example, what I'm doing right here is playing Yuzuha as a bit of a DPS. I'm using Inferno Metal on her simply because since this is a basic attack from Yuzuha, it means that even though Yuzuha is not on the field, she's still getting the extra crit rate from Inferno Metal. This is the build that I'm using on my Yuzuha. It's a 4-piece Inferno Metal with a lot of substats on attack percentage, and still I am not maximizing my attack damage. This means that if you're looking to maximize attack buff, you're going to need a lot of substats. We're using crit rate disc 4 because, well, we kind of need a lot of crit rate here. Penetration ratio on slot 5 because this is like lighter, and lighter is going to provide a lot of damage already. You don't need to worry about damage, you can just go for more penetration. And since I'm using Whipping Cradle, stacking penetration is always good. And then for disc 6, I'm using attack because that's like a really offensive option. You don't need to run Anomaly Master. Like, here's the best part. For teams that you're not playing around Anomaly characters, you pretty much don't need to run Anomaly Mastery. But I played her with 2 different builds. With DPS build, as you can see, this one right here, and I also played with Support build. I'm using 4-piece Astral Voice and Energy Regeneration on disc 6. For this one, you're also going to play Evelyn exactly as you usually do. But the difference here is that Yuzuha is going to provide a lot of damage by herself. If you're using Kabum the Cannon and going for a support build or a more damage focused build, the damage difference is going to be minimal. This is like 1% damage difference just because you're going for Inferno Metal. And this is like a really specific team composition. You can notice some difference, a huge difference, if you're going for a damage focused build with Whipping Cradle because you're like stacking a lot of penetration. So pretty much, I would say that if you're looking to make this team composition, you should definitely use Whipping Cradle and try to stack some extra penetration, assuming you have enough damage sources somewhere else. The difference here is how much well you play Evelyn pretty much, because since Astral Voice is going to increase the damage from Evelyn, you kind of need to play her really well. Meanwhile, Inferno Metal pretty much just allows you to deal a lot of damage without worrying about anything else, because Yuzuha keeps dealing damage by herself without any kind of interaction from you. It is a really interesting composition. However, as you can see here on the numbers on your screen, and from my experience as well, you are not going to get a huge damage difference. The difference here is that it's way harder for you to build a DPS build when compared to a more supportive build. But around 30% of the damage comes from Yuzuha by doing nothing. Maybe in the future we can get more synergies between other characters where you can play Yuzuha as a bit of a DPS. To be honest, from my test between Evelyn Lighter and Yuzuha and Evelyn Lighter Astra, I feel it's way easier for me to play Evelyn Lighter Yuzuha. And the reason for this is simply because Astra, despite like being an AFK experience, you don't need to worry about Astra because you're just pretty much going to swap between Evelyn and Lighter non-stop, which is exactly what is going to deal damage, right? But the problem is that if you're looking to maximize your damage using Astra, you kind of need really good gameplay on Evelyn. Because if you can't benefit from Astra ultimate to deal another chain attack during the stun window or something like this, you are losing damage. Meanwhile, Yuzuha is just dealing damage herself without any kind of interaction from you. So like Yuzuha kind of feels easier to play for same damage potential, but of course a really well played Astra team composition is going to be amazing. So this is basically what I want to say regarding lighter interaction, damage attribute, damage interactions with Yuzuha. Really good thing, but it's not going to change your build at all. Just build her however you're looking to build. Even if you're playing the lighter team composition, as I said, just go for the classic Astral Voice or Swing Jazz, whatever you have available for you, and it's going to work completely fine. Okay, now the next thing that I want to talk about is regarding Jane team compositions with Yuzuha, because I've seen some players saying, for example, oh, you're going to ditch out Anomaly Mastery on Jane because now with Yuzuha you can just go for attack. Hold on a little bit, it's not exactly like that. Others are saying that you should go for 2-piece sets instead of using a specific 4-piece set on Jane team compositions. And the truth is that 3 different 2-piece sets definitely works on Jane teams. And it's kind of consistent because you don't need to worry about triggering any kind of 4-piece effect. For example, Swing Jazz requires you to use a chain attack or ultimate, so ideally you want to use the ultimate outside of the stun window so you can kind of maximize the uptime on Swing Jazz. You still need to use Swing Jazz in a good moment so you can get like really good build up with the extra damage. So all these things that you need to play around can be a little bit of a problem depending on your gameplay and how invested you are in min-maxing some rotations. 2-2, as you can see here, I did some calculations and it's definitely good. Like, you're losing 0.3% damage, but if the extra stats helps you get, for example, an anomaly proficiency disc, you're going to avoid diluting Jane damage. As you can see right here, the more anomaly proficiency you have on your kit, the better for your Jane damage. Now, what's going to lower down is Yuzuha own damage contribution, because the thing is that most of the Yuzuha damage is coming from the damage over time effect and Sugar Burst Sparkles Max, which won't dilute the build-up, okay? These are good things for Jane. These are not going to dilute Jane damage. However, whenever you use a Sys Follow-Up, EX Special Chain, or Ultimate, your Jane damage is going to lower down. So this is where the problem comes from. So this is why it's really important for you to maximize anomaly proficiency whenever you can, either substats, 2-piece stats, Disc 4 as well, because this is going to help you avoid lowering down Jane damage that much. Now, one thing that you're going to notice is that if I go for a non-physical team, using 2-2 is going to offer you some pretty heavy damage loss. So it's really important for you to just go for more anomaly proficiency if you are playing a physical team composition, because you don't want to dilute the damage of your physical anomaly. Outside of this, attack is always going to be better. You don't need to worry about anomaly proficiency at all if you're going for a non-physical team. Now, talking about anomaly mastery and attack on Jane, personally, I have way better numbers using anomaly mastery on my Jane on a neutral scenario. But basically speaking, there's no hard rule or easy answer regarding anomaly mastery or attack, because it's all about breakpoints. Let me try to explain a little better. The thing about Jane is that most of her damage is going to come from assault. So the faster you get assaults, the better your DPS. So if you use Yuzuha and Flavor Match on Jane, you're getting extra build up from Yuzuha additional ability, you're getting extra damage from Yuzuha Sugar Burst because it's going to Flavor Match with Jane. So chances are that on this scenario, you're getting a lot of build up and you're always going to feel that you're hitting the internal cooldown and you kind of wasting damage. So on this scenario, chances are, okay, you're going for attack. Attack is going to be better. But if you do this, you're losing build up on the second anomaly unit that you're using, which most of the time is going to be Vivian, right? And from my tests, I get better scores if I use Flavor Match on Vivian instead of a Jane. And this means that since I'm not using Flavor Match on Jane, I can keep going for Anomaly Mastery and get good build up on Jane and also get good build up on Vivian. And this allows me to get a lot of extra disorders. So this is good extra damage for me. And so far, on a neutral scenario, I have been getting better scores if I use Flavor Match on Vivian. Now, one thing I can say for sure is that if you're going for Mindscape 2 Jane, for example, because my tests were using Mindscape 0. If you're going for Mindscape 1, because I get extra build up on Mindscape 1, if you're going for extra copies of Jane's signature, if you're going for a physical weak enemy, chances are you're always going to feel that you have a lot of build up on your Jane. And because of this, you can probably go for an attack on slot 6, even if you're not using Flavor Match on Jane. If you're using Flavor Match on Jane, you're definitely going for attack. It just depends on a lot of different factors. Okay, it just depends on how invested you are into your Jane. It depends on enemy weakness. It depends on a lot of different things if Anomaly Mastery is going to be better or not than attack. From my calculations, attack is always better. If you're using Yuzuha, from my calculations, attack is always better. From my gameplay experience, Anomaly Mastery is better. But it's like a minimal difference. I'm talking about 1,000 points in a neutral scenario. I did my test against Pompey, as you can see. And so far, like in good setups, good gameplay, It's like 1,000 points difference. I don't think it's a big deal. At the end of the day, it's all about substats as well. Depending on your substats, you're going to get massive damage difference. For example, getting extra anomaly proficiency on your attack disc set means that you're going to get extra damage on your assaults. Meanwhile, your anomaly mastery with 0 rolls on attack, 0 rolls on anomaly proficiency, you're getting more assaults, but with lower damage. Is this even worth it? It depends. So there's no hard rule, no hard answer here. And it's just about playing, testing, and seeing what is better for you. Overall, I personally really enjoy Anomaly Mastery on Jane, but as I said, I don't play with Mindscape 1. My Jane is Mindscape 0, even on my account. So I just have a better time with Anomaly Mastery because it allows me to get consistent assaults. And since 80% of Jane damage comes from assaults, it just feels better this way, at least for me. I just feel that at the end of the day, it's all about gameplay and breakpoints, as I said. To another thing that some viewers asked me on the comment section of my Yuzuha guide is regarding metal sets. You see, for example, Thunder Metal, Inferno Metal, and Aftershock. If we're going for an electric team composition, let's say, for example, Haramasa, Chingy, and Yuzuha. From my tests, I don't feel Yuzuha gets enough build-up or provides enough build-up for these team compositions for you to keep Thunder Metal with 100% uptime. Chances are, if you go for Anomaly Mastery and Fatal Melody 2-piece, then yeah, you're going to get enough build-up, but it just feels bad for you to stack Anomaly Mastery on a team composition that you're not even going to activate Yuzuha additional abilities. So personally, I don't like it. Maybe if you're dealing against an enemy that is weak to the attributes you're trying to use here, chances are you're going to get enough build-up. And regarding Aftershock, the problem with Aftershock builds is that you're not going to get a lot of damage on Yuzuha because the only Aftershock that we have on her kit is Hard Candy Shot. And the damage from Hard Candy Shot is bad. Most of the damage is going to be coming from Sugar Burst Sparkles and Sugar Burst Sparkle Max. Really, it just feels bad. I wouldn't recommend you going for Aftershock builds. Instead, just stack attack, 4-piece support set on your Yuzuha, and you're good to go. That's it. Well, I think this is everything that people asked me on my video, and I also wanted to clarify regarding lighter and damage effects as well on Yuzuha. And I really hope this video could help you understand a little bit from where Yuzuha damage is coming from, how you could approach some unconventional builds as well, and how you can min-max your damage on Jane team compositions, for example. If you still have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments down below, but you can also join my Discord server. I'm way more active on my Discord server instead of here on the comment section. And if you want to optimize your team, your damage from whatever kind of thing you're using, I highly recommend using this calculator that you're seeing on your screen. This is my personal project that I make it available for free. You can grab it on this video that is popping up on your screen right now. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in my next video. See ya. Bye-bye.